and the always beautiful Mrs. Honeydew Carpenter. Mwah. Some of you may have known we decided to go ahead and take the leap and homestead a property up in the Rocky Mountains of North Idaho. And so that's where we are right now. And I just wanted to do this preliminary live to give you guys a little bit of an overview of what we've got coming. We haven't put out much over the past year because we've just been trying to survive up here. Behind us, I don't know if you can tell, there's a big pond. Can they see that? I don't know. Yeah, loosen that. Oh yeah, there's the dike and everything. Oh, we're live again?
Yeah.
Got lucky because that pond was just a dry hole earlier this year. But, I mean, it's a natural pond. It just wasn't much. It was more like a bog. And I was able to just uncap some of the spring water and whatnot. And so I don't know if you can hear the babbling brook in the background, but that's actually a spring, and that's what feeds this pond. We're super duper excited. As far as our Saturday lives go, we're starting those back up, and those are going to be at probably 11 a.m. Mountain Time because we changed time zones.
So that would be 10 a.m.
Oh yeah, that'd be 10 a.m.
Our time.
Our time.
Yeah.
And the reason we're waiting until 10 a.m. in the morning to do them is because the further north you go, the less light you have. And on top of that, my warehouse, where I'm doing all the rocket stove and the aircrete research right now, is off-site because I haven't got my shop built yet. As far as the aircrete cabin goes, it's coming right along. We've got the septic system all in, all the underground plumbing, the water to it, all the footings, and the pad to put the aircrete house on. And so as soon as the snow starts melting, we're going to be putting walls up.
And videos will be coming as soon as I can get to editing.
Right. I mean, literally, we've just been trying to
keep our head above water.
Keep our head above water up here. We've had to deal, we're living right now on site, but we're in a fifth wheel camper with a family of 5. And I mean, we've had to deal with frozen pipes and everything else. It's just been absolutely crazy. And so,
with no water, so we haul our water into the camper and everything like that. We did eventually get water. It was quite the feat, but it was still, it's fun to take a bath. We'll get a video about that too.
Yeah, I mean, everything from just bathing, it takes me like probably, I don't know, 2.5, 3 hours to put together a bathtub scenario in our bathing tent for the whole family. What I did was I took an old army stove, and we'll do a video about this.
Yeah, we will.
But and that'll come really soon because we've shot all the footage for it. But I took a 3/8 copper tubing, wrapped it around a 3-inch pipe. You know, it's about 30 feet long, and I put it in the back of the stove and up the stovepipe, and basically made an on-demand hot water system. And so, as long as we've got water coming into our garden hose into the tent, we're able to start a fire, and we have an old galvanized cowboy bathtub, and basically we make a little hot tub in there.
It's actually kind of awesome.
So,
here's a pond that you can see behind us, and it's all frozen, so it's kind of hard to see. It just looks like all ice. But let's see if there's any comments. You want to see if there's any comments, Star? Kenny Bean says, hey, Happy New Year. Great to see you. Hope all is well.
oh, awesome.
Hey, Kenny.
Thank you so much, Kenny. And Kenny is, he came and visited us in Idaho Falls. He's a really great guy, and he's into doing these hydroponics type of projects and whatnot. And
he's
that's
awesome.
Yeah, he's awesome. And that's something that we are going to be doing as well up on our property.
Yes.
So What
All
else?
right. A Peaceful Wolf says, glad to see you from Montreal.
Awesome.
John says, hi, Honeydew and Mrs. Honeydew. I haven't seen you for quite a while. I know. We've been, like he said, keeping our head above water is... So it's glad to be back. Who are these people? Stranger danger. Mike says, hey, glad to see you. Carl says, good evening from Sweden. Wow.
Oh, awesome,
Well, good
Carl.
evening then. Wow. Something Backwoods Bungalow says, keep following your American dream. Thank you. And John says, as good as the snow starts melting. As soon as the snow starts melting. So July then?
No. It'll be sooner than that.
Yeah, you know. Backwoods says, this is once in a lifetime opportunity to build a family homestead. Yes, that is very, very true. That is one thing we've noticed with our boys. The memories that they're making and the things they're talking about are so different now.
What you really want to do is show people what's possible. We took a piece of property that all the locals around here just thought was junk, and I've developed springs on it, and I built this dike and made a huge pond, and we've got 2 other ponds that I built another one, and I'm building a 3rd one down below our house pad. So our house is going to have a deck looking out over the view.
2 of them have been existing but not maintained at all. An old farmer just had dug them out so his cows had a place to water years ago.
Yeah, he just took a place where there was a little bit of weeping water and dug a hole, and so I took the existing ones and I just made them super duper cool. And we're so blessed. I knew one of the most important things was water once we got up here.
I'm having trouble reading some of the names, but Red says, hello from Arizona. David says, is it cold yet? Just a little bit. Kevin says, hey, nice to see you again in your new place. It is so nice. We hope you guys can see it. Michael says, hi again. David says, negative 11 here this morning. It sucks. Woo! Okay, it's not that cold here. It's actually started melting.
Yeah.
So
well, it's not melting right this second, but like yesterday it started melting a little bit, and it just depends on when the sun comes out and whatnot. So
yeah. So I hope it warms up there, David, and I hope you stay warm. And Michael says, yes, show us what's possible.
So, like I said, I have an off-site location, a shop where we've set up the rocket stove and whatnot. The stuff that we're going to bring you on the rocket stove is going to be pretty mind-blowing, okay? There were technologies 4 years ago that weren't available to me now. Now I have a laser thermometer that I can shoot right into the back of the stove, and it'll tell me exactly within 10 degrees how hot that stove is burning. And so the first time I did it, we opened up these lasers, laser thermometers. It was really the first time I knew exactly how hot my stove was burning, because all I had done before was I took different alloys of welding rod and saw what melted, and there was the hard welding rod I had melted at 3,300 or above, and the other one melted at like 2,480, around 2,500 degrees. And so I knew it was somewhere between there, and I just told people, oh, my stove is burning. Oh, look at the turkeys, babe. Anyways, we got wild turkeys and everything else. So anyways, I knew it burned somewhere between 2,500 and 3,000 degrees or whatever. Well, we shot that laser in there just 2 days ago, and the first reading I got was 2871 or something like that. And so it was about right where I had estimated it would be with where the welding rod melted. But anyways, the rocket stove is going to be this. Basically, I'm working with a software developer, and there's something called a Raspberry Pi. It's like a credit card sized little processing center. It takes almost no energy. You can run it with just a small solar panel, and you can hook temperature sensors to it and everything. It's going to sense exactly when the fuel in the stove starts to diminish, and it'll adjust the damper so that it's burning at peak efficiency at all times, and it will always be, I mean, it even will have a CO2 sensor hooked to it at the top of the chimney. And the funny thing about it is, unless you put like a wet piece of wood in it, you can't even get a CO2 reading. I mean, you got to put a wet piece in right now. It's crazy. It just incinerates everything. And so
If you guys can't tell, he's been having fun playing.
yeah, that's the whole deal. I wanted to put our money where our mouth was. I want to live in an aircrete house, and I want to use an aircrete rocket stove, and I want it to be that much closer to people, because the thing about it is it's like any other normal stove without any functions on it. You have to babysit it, you know, because if you just start your stove and go to work and it just burns out and nobody's there to close the damper or whatever, all that heat just goes out into the atmosphere. But if there's something there to close the damper, now that thermal battery you created just slowly gives off heat while you're gone. And so, yeah, I'm pretty excited about it, because this is all stuff that's new to me. I met a software developer that bought some property up here, and we met him down at the river, and he's was a fan of ours. He had all our foamates and products and stuff, and he said, hey, you know, I think you might be able to do something with the computer software on your rocket stove. And I'm like, what? You know, but it's pretty amazing.
It really is amazing. All right, so I'm actually starting to feel very, very blessed, because -20 here in Vermont.
Oh, in
And
Vermont.
loving it? Okay, no. Okay, it was 40 below on New Year's here. Oh, okay, I'm getting cold just thinking about it, you guys. Okay. Glad to see you all are still alive. Yes, we're still alive. It's been a crazy year, but
Yeah.
we have a lot of videos to be coming out. I need plans for the rocket stove that burns pellets.
Okay. Don't even get me started. Okay, that's another one. And it's insane, because you actually can just do the mathematical equation, because pellets have specific BTUs that they create and whatnot. And so I've got a hearth coming that the rocket stove sits on, and there's a steel coil with water in it, and it forces hot water through your hearth to create a battery, a thermal battery, instead of a bench. It's crazy stuff. You guys are gonna love it. Yeah.
All right.
Don't even get me started. And on the pellet stuff, I've already developed the burner system for it, so that where the air comes in, because it rockets like, it sounds like a jet engine, but where the air comes in, as it burns those pellets and pellets drop, it just gravity feeds in a few more pellets at a time, and it just, so you can load the pellet hopper up and go to work or whatever, and then as long as you have the control mechanisms on it, it'll just shut itself down, and your house will be warm when you get home.
Yeah. All right. Someone said squirrel.
Oh,
Because you and the turkeys.
yeah, I go off on rabbit trails a lot, and then did you hear that?
Brian says, can't wait to see/hear the results. And Larry says, jumped on immediately. That's it right now on our comments. Is there anything else you want to say?
No, I told Melanie, I said, let's do a preliminary. I'm going to do a series. Basically, I'm going to do about a 5-point video on the initial setup of the rocket stove. And then I'm going to do a 5-video series where I just go over 3 points of it and how it works. Because I don't think most people understand how it works. Because rocket stoves have been around 100 years and they were finicky, and sometimes they worked and sometimes they didn't. And if people who tried to build them and didn't know what they were doing, you know, would mess them up. And I just want to go over this, and I'm going to take my same core and put it in a barrel and put it in all kinds of different, and put it in an existing wood stove. That same core, I'm going to put it in an existing wood stove and turn in one of the most popular wood stoves, which is the Blaze King on the face of the planet, into an efficient rocket stove. Because I call him the Smolder King. Because up where we have our shop and the rocket stove set up, inside he has a Blaze King, and after running the rocket stove in the shop, he hates that stupid Blaze King. He just hates it. But
nothing against Blaze King.
Oh no, they just create a lot of creosote. My whole goal with building it was just to eliminate as much creosote as we possibly can. In fact, we're actually developing a system that will allow you to just take all the mechanisms out of these, because a lot of wood stoves, they have to have fans and an AC plug-in system to even make them work halfway efficient. And then when those systems get a little bit old, they quit working. And that's what's happened with his Blaze King. The mechanism that opens and closes the damper from temperature, it quit working. And so it happens to a lot of people. And so they basically have a regular old wood stove that they have to babysit and open and close the dampers and check it. And I'm going to put up a system where you can use this processor on a solar panel and put the temperature sensor on the side of your stove, and an oxygen and O2 sensor, carbon sensor up on the chimney, and it will run a step motor, because a step motor, kind of like on a laser printer, that will be on a bicycle chain type system. Actually, not a bicycle chain. It'll just be a cable you can't even see with a ballast, but it'll open and close a damper in the stovepipe and make sure that your stove is running as efficient as it possibly can be, so you don't have to babysit it, you know. And it's going to be fun.
Super fun. So we have a couple questions before we go.
Okay.
Were you able to get a permit for your Air Creek structure? You apply. Arizona is one big pain in the butt. We have gotten all the permits that we needed, and we're doing good.
Yeah.
So thank you. Can you use logs and pellets? Yes. You can use either in the rocket stove.
Either or.
You can set it up for either.
Well,
or.
yeah, you have to have a special hopper that attaches to the door to run pellets. But yeah, and
you finally surfaced. Hurry up and get going on your stoves. I am ready with a new home that needs a heat source.
Right.
We are working on it. A peaceful retirement says smiley face and thumbs up. Glad to see you're back and getting. We were getting worried. No worries. No creosote.
Right.
Mine is a gravity-fed pellet stove. That's awesome. Yep.
That's awesome. And there's a lot of different gravity-fed pellet stoves out there. Just this one isn't going to require a fan to force air onto the pellets to make them burn efficiently. So it's just going to have a riser and a rocket stove system. So the air being forced in for that is going to be what does it. So it'll be just kind of no power needed, off-grid, self-contained. Yeah.
All right, you guys are awesome. Thank you. And you guys have a great day, and we'll see you guys later, okay?
All right, we'll see you next week.